Hey everybody, I'm Deb, and this is
Beth.
and we're Beth and Deb, obviously. This is part 2 of our talk about goal setting, and then now that you've learned how to reach your goals through using SMART goals and the strategies we talked about before.
We set our goals.
We were setting our goals.
We didn't reach them yet.
Did I say reach?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Well, now that we've set our goals, now we're going to figure out how to reach the goals. Because it's one thing, I could set goals like literally all day. I really could. I'm very good at it.
I'm very good at setting them. I really am. I think we're really good at that.
We're both really good at having ideas and being like, yes,
and I can put
them
in a SMART format.
Yes, absolutely. If you need a goal, we're the ones to call. We'll help you figure that out. But sometimes I think the more difficult part is once you have your goals in place, how do you keep yourself on track?
After day 4.
Well, even after day 1, right? Like, because you might have a goal in mind, but then like, how do you keep that at the forefront of your mind when life gets busy, things get hectic, other things take your attention? It's really easy to just like kind of forget you even had that goal, especially since we're talking about like small habits that you start building on. You know, if yours is drinking more water, it's really easy just to kind of like, oh yeah, I forgot I was going to start drinking more water. So if you don't already have a system in place of ways to like organize your intentional activities on a weekly basis or daily basis, then it's probably time to start learning how to do that, right? To start implementing new habits that help you focus on not only just like time management in general, right? Like that's good for anybody, but also if you have a specific goal you're working toward, this can help you really keep on the right track. So some of the things that I do personally and that I've learned throughout just, learning to be a professional, I think when I was in college and undergrad, I just relied on my mental calendar mostly to organize my time. I knew what my class schedule was. I kind of like vaguely knew when I was going to have to be at work. And then like, hopefully I would remember when big assignments were due, or like my professor would mention it the week before and I'd be like, oh crap, I've got to work the next 4 days straight to get this, turned in. But then when I got to grad school, that just kind of didn't work anymore.
Yeah.
And I had to start being more intentional. And then even more so as a professional, working as a professor and a psychologist, I had to say, okay, even the things I was doing before are not cutting it with the higher level goals I want to achieve. So I started having to do not only like making a calendar, but keeping a running to-do list. So a very extensive list of highly prioritized tasks that I have to do this week, and then a list of kind of like aspirational things that I need to get to, but it doesn't have like a specific deadline unless I say there is a deadline, or the deadline's in 6 months, right? So that's kind of how I organize my time, and I even have it broken out by sections. So like teaching things, research, home and family things that I need to think about. So it is this is where I keep it. So I have a little notebook that I carry around with me all the time. And at the beginning of the week, I'll look over my to-do list from the week before. So I have like a little planning meeting on Monday morning just with myself. And I say, okay, these are the things I got done. These are the things that need to transfer over to the next page for this week. Priority goals at the top, and then kind of just kind of shifting and thinking about what I want to work on. So is that similar to what you do, or do you have a different kind of method?
Yeah. So I think it's interesting to compare or to, have your to-do list to be a part of your kind of sub-goal planning, right? Because that's what we're saying is that we still have this overall goal of being a competent professional or getting healthier or whatever. And it almost always does come down to having some sort of intention.
Yes.
Every day, whether that's a to-do list or it's, sharing it with an accountability partner and they check in with you, or it's something that, maybe you set a reminder on your phone that, hey, I want to work out at noon, or I want to stretch more or whatever. And you use technology to help remind you.
Yeah.
Either way, it has to do with just making sure you're intentional about prioritizing.
Right.
So, for me, I do daily to-do lists. Mm-hmm. And then I do sort of a to-do and a must-do. Mm-hmm. But I do that sort of day by day because it feels easier. It just
works for you.
Yeah, it feels easier for me to do that. But I think by learning what our sub-goals are from the last video we did, I think it makes putting the right things on the to-do list give us more steps toward that final goal.
Right. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so making sure that you know what goals you're working toward, and then you have those things in a habitual way where you're reminding yourself of what you intentionally want to do every day. Because we've talked about in other videos before, the human mind works on autopilot for all that it can, because it takes a lot of effort and a lot of brain power to always be like aware of what you're doing and doing exactly what you want, whereas your brain and your body are like, this feels easy to just do, like eat the pizza and not drink the water and, lay on the couch instead of getting up to jog, whatever feels easy and comfortable, that's what our brain's going to kind of like default to.
Yeah.
But if you just always do that, you're not probably going to not have the kind of life that you really want when you stop to think about it. So making a habit, whatever it is, whatever works for you, it doesn't have to be like to-do list like I have, or like a weekly thing, or, I do suggest a to-do list. I don't know. There's not much of a way around it, but it can be in the form of calendar reminders, like you said. And would you talk a little bit more about your like organizing with friends or accountability partners?
Yeah.
That's not something I really do very much.
Yeah. So I went through sort of this phase of wanting to do yoga more. I was having some back problems, and my doctor said yoga would help. And so we found this 30-day yoga challenge. And I know that I'm actually really good at most goals for the first 4 days. Mm-hmm. Like I get real excited. I feel really good about myself. And then I get to day 4 and I'm like, over it. Because it's harder. Yeah. Right? To what you're saying, like it's easier to fall back to kind of the middle instead of fighting to do things that I'm not natural at doing right away until I've created that habit. Yeah. So how does it help you to have other people involved with that? So what we ended up doing was
and I was involved in this in one of your 30-day challenges.
Yeah, I've done it a couple of times actually. So we started a group text that said every day send a photo of yourself doing yoga.
Doing your little 30. We all were doing kind of the same.
We were on the same kind of
video.
Yeah. And so it was sort of like it was good for me to know that I had to send that text. Yeah. And I couldn't just say, I did it.
Or you had to show proof.
There are certain things that I know about myself that I know I need to do.
Yeah.
Not that I really would want to lie. But certainly.
But to save face a little bit, you might fudge a little bit.
It's like, I still got to take a picture of it.
Well, and I think I remember like there were some days when we just couldn't do it. And there was a little bit of grace for that, but we made it up the next day or something, right? So even when you fall off the wagon for 1 or 2 days, you've still got people that are going to say, hey, are you going to get back with the program? Instead of just kind of, oh, well, I tried that. It didn't really work.
Well, I think it's an important thing about an accountability partner to make sure that they are not someone that you're so close to that they are like, oh,
they'll excuse all your behavior.
You really have to be intentional about picking someone and even saying to them up front, like, I really need you to hold me accountable. So if I'm saying, or I'm making excuses, or I'm saying, oh, I didn't get it done, like, I really do want you to say, like, hey, your goal was to do this. And I, as your accountability partner, want to try to support you. Yeah. So having some communication up front about that with your accountability partner, I think is really, really important.
Yeah, that's good. And I remember that too. It helped me do yoga for.
So what do you do, or what do you tell other people to do when those hurdles come, right? So you have this long-term goal that you want to do. Inevitably, there's going to be something that gets in the way, right? I want to eat healthier, or I want to get healthy, and then my friend invites me out for drinks and birthday cake.
Right. Big deal. So, like, maybe one day you were at the end of your willpower and you had drinks and birthday cake.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Do it, get back up and do it again the next day, right? Like, just because you have one slip up doesn't mean it's all ruined and that you can't keep progressing on your goal. I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned is that, like, one or two mistakes or even like even an extended period of mistakes from your goal doesn't mean that you can't work toward that goal anymore.
Yeah, that's really hard for me. I'm for real. I am like, oh well. It's over.
And then in 6 months you're like, I need to drink more water.
I think I need a 30-day yoga challenge again. I really do have that tendency though. Like that is how my brain thinks. My brain, and I know this, I know it professionally, right? Where it's like, okay, you know, drinks and birthday cake doesn't ruin, but that is what my brain tells me. It's like, oh, well, you've ruined it. You're off the wagon. You might as well just eat cake tomorrow.
Do you never want to eat cake again?
Leftovers.
Do you know how good that was last night, that cake? Do you really not want to eat cake again today? Yeah, your brain is just like completely unhelpful in situations like that.
That's exactly what happens.
So you've got to just, I think it's about training your mind to understand that those thoughts are going to come up. Mm-hmm. They're just naturally going to be there, and then you get to decide what you do. Like, okay, am I going to follow that thought train all the way to in 20 pounds more, you know, like when I am birthday caked to the hilt, saying, oh gosh, I wish I had not ever gone down that road again.
Yeah.
Or are you going to say, oh, okay, I know that thought is going to come up, but what I really want and how I really, you know, like I really want in 6 months to be able to say, I am a lot healthier now and I'm eating the things that I want to do. And it's not as difficult anymore because it's a habit and it's natural to me now.
Yeah. What else do you tell people about reaching goals?
One thing I've found for myself too is being aware of my strengths and working with my strengths.
That's
so I have this notion that I should be able to just like work really hard all the time and no matter what mood state I'm in or things like that. But I know now after like becoming more aware of myself, I really have a limited number of hours in the day where I'm like full on able to be motivated, balls to the wall. We're going to title this series
Goal setting.
Goals to the wall.
Goals to the wall. That's what you've said.
Really bad.
You did not ever say that word.
Said balls. But I don't know if we'll have to edit all of that out, but we're all adults here. So I would say if I know that my best productive hours of the day are going to be like 9 to 2, then I'm going to schedule all of my really effortful tasks during that time period. And I'll save other things for like afternoon or evening. What?
I was thinking, like, when you were talking about your strengths.
Yeah.
I was reminded of the personal trainer that you had the one time.
Yeah.
That you were like, I just don't think this is what I should do.
I almost died. That's how hard it was.
I just remember you being like, this just isn't me, really.
Yeah.
Like strength training and like, because that's what I thought you meant by this. Mm-hmm. I was like, oh yeah, remember that?
No, that is something I did learn through experience that after I work out, I want to still be able to like walk down the stairs.
I want to be able to move.
And move. So, and not, you know, like, I don't really care about having giant muscles like this guy was like, ugh. And I felt like that's where he was taking the training. Anyway, so that's where the realistic part comes in on the SMART goal. It's not realistic for me to be a weight trainer, right? So, knowing also like at the beginning of the week, I'm probably more motivated than Thursday and Friday. So front load my work toward the beginning and then other things. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I really love this idea of like knowing yourself and setting yourself up for success based on your strengths.
Yeah.
And not fighting against like, well, I suck at this, so I'm going to really try hard.
Yeah, that's setting yourself up for failure for sure. Yeah. So being accepting who you are and not wishing that you were someone else, but then always knowing that you do have the strengths to improve on things that are important to you. Like you can find the strength within yourself somewhere. It might not look like it would for someone else who has a different type of strength. But it just takes that little bit of effort to know, like, to get to know yourself and like be okay. Like, I wish I could work late into the evening and not, just like hate life, but that's not how I work.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Let's, as we wrap up here, I want to ask you one last thing about comparing yourself to other people, right? Because that's another thing that gets in the way of people reaching their goals. It's like, okay, if you and I were going to do a goal that's similar, right? We're both going to diet, or we're both going to be, working out or whatever. And you are totally rocking it. Right. And then I think about how you're meeting your goal and I'm working so hard and I am not getting nearly the results you're getting. I am done.
Right.
Right. So like, how do you help people not compare themselves to other people or other people's success at kind of a similar goal?
Yeah. I mean, I think the first part of that is that you and I might have really different goals to start with. Yeah. Because like if we're going with diet, like I don't actually believe in dieting, right? Like the research doesn't really show that it's effective. So like maybe we're just coming at a similar goal of being healthy from different perspectives. So like being healthy to you might look like losing 10 pounds. Whereas for me, it would look like, well, I'm eating all the fruits and vegetables, I'm getting all the nutrients I need in a day. I may still weigh this much, but I know my body's getting the fuel and the energy it needs. So the goal is similar in that we both want to be healthier, but you're going to be gauging it in a different way than I am. And so I think you have to go by, okay, what's my value here? And how can I, if I do want to work with my friend on this similar goal, we got to be really clear about like, your goal is going to be, you're going to know you've reached your goal when you've lost weight. But for me, my goal is going to look this way. And we're not going to compare the results beyond, here's what you're doing and here's what I'm doing. And these are both examples of successful ways that we're reaching our goals. But then even if we have the same exact goal and you're killing it and I'm not, and we're measuring it the same way, that's a tougher one for sure. But you've just got to remember, even going with the idea of like dieting and losing weight, your body's really different from mine. Like everybody's really different and it's okay. You just have to get to a point where you're really only focusing on, are you working toward your goal? Are you living by that value? And if you are, good, you're successful, whether it looks like this person or not, you're being successful and you can feel good about that. Yeah. It's just a mindset switch.
And I think that's true of any goal, right? Whether it's getting better grades. And I think it's just easy for us to fall into those anxiety fueling thoughts of I'm working really hard and other people are making better gains than I am.
What's wrong with me?
I'm not good at this. I might as well just quit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think those are just things that as we are on social media and we're seeing all the glorious pictures of all these other people who are so much more successful than we are, it's like, actually, all of it's an illusion based on the perception of what you're thinking about yourself and how they are portraying themselves.
Right.
When in fact, all of it could be an illusion.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when they probably look at somebody else's social media and think they have everything that I want to have, so it's a challenge to get past that comparison. But once you do, that will help you really focus on your own goal and being like allowing yourself to feel good about your accomplishment, even if it's not the same as somebody else's.
Absolutely. So good.
Yeah. We could probably talk about this a lot
We could
more,
for a long time.
But I think
for now,
probably done enough. They've heard enough from us on this.
Bye.
Bye.